Well, let's take a look at the world of sports, what's happening. And we do have joining us for sports this morning, it's Tolu Shotade. Good morning to you, Tolu.
Hello, Joe. Great to be here today.
All right, so what's happening in the world of sports?
Oh, look, it's a lot. Arguably probably Africa's biggest league, if you do not count the South African PSL, which is obviously one of the leading lights on the African continent. It's the Egyptian Premier League. It kicked off yesterday, and like we know, Al Ahly are the most recognizable team in the Egyptian Premier League. They got Pitso Mosimane, the former Bafana coach. He's done a lot with them over the last couple of years. But the key thing heading into this season is the fact that they do not go into the season as champions. Instead, it's the bitter rival Zamalek who won the league last year, the first league title since 2015. So it's a very, very stacked up season. Zamalek, unfortunately, couldn't strengthen their team going into this season because they're currently under a FIFA transfer ban. So it's pretty much the same Zamalek team from last year. Will that be in their favor is also another big question about whether or not Zamalek will be better off because they didn't strengthen. But for Ali, there's a lot of pressure on Pitso Mosimane, like I said. They lost the Super Cup in Egypt last year, also lost the title to Zamalek. And there's a lot of outcry as to whether or not Pitso Mosimane should remain on the job. Remember, he spent just over a year at Ali, and he's won 2 CAF Champions League titles. He's won the Egyptian Premier League, won that in his first season with Zamalek, with Al Ahly. So it's almost the same of the same. It's still going to be Ali against Zamalek for the title. They're both not in action until much later. Ali are not playing until Wednesday. Zamalek start their campaign today in the Egyptian Premier League. But Patrice Carteron, a man who's masterminded that huge win for Zamalek last season, he's talked about the fact that the team still is very competitive. They might not have been able to strengthen, like I said, that FIFA ban looming over the team, the transfer ban looming over them. But again, like I say, Ali against Zamalek is still going to be that 2-horse race. There's the likes of Pyramids. They've got the very influential Ramadan Sobi, who I used to play in Europe, also an Egyptian international. He's probably one of the leading lights. Remember, they came into a bit of money, Pyramids, over the last couple of years. So they've been able to buy a lot of quality into the team, but that quality really hasn't seen them challenge for the title. But if we look at the fixtures to expect in the Egyptian Premier League going into today, Zamalek start their defense against NP later today. Ali are not in action until Wednesday. They go to Ismail, and that's a difficult ground to start up in Egypt. So we look ahead to that very important one. And of course, some stats about the Egyptian Premier League, just in case you didn't know, it's got a lot of Africans in that Egyptian Premier League. And if we could just get that statistic, the couple of Africans to look out for, the 16 Tunisians, 11 Ghanaians, 9 Nigerians, 6 Moroccans, Ivorians in there, Burkina, even Palestine have got players in the Egyptian Premier League, Cameroon, Uganda, Sudan, and Guinea. There are also European, North American, and South American players in Egypt. So that just tells you how strong this Egyptian Premier League is. So if you can watch it, find a way to watch it. It will display some of the best football on the African continent. And finally, in Sudan, where we do know that there's a military coup currently on the way, the Algerian women's team were supposed to play the second leg of their African Women's Cup of Nations qualifier against Sudan. They won the first leg 14-0. You heard right, 14-0. The second leg was supposed to take place in Sudan. The Algerian team already in Sudan for that game, but the happenings in the country has meant that that game doesn't look like it will hold. FIFA and of course CAF have said that they are looking to repatriate the team out of Sudan in the coming days. Whether or not that game will take place is another source of worry. You really don't think that Sudan are going to turn around a 14-0 deficit. I don't think that has ever happened, even in street soccer. So I think it's almost good to say that the game probably will not hold. Algeria probably will be handed qualification for the next round of the African Women's Cup of Nations.
Right, thank you so much, Tolu. I'm sure that they could join you later on at 10:30 a.m., right?
Most definitely. Most definitely.
All right.
All right there.